everybody, Matt Browne here again with another video in my first Symphony project cycle. I'm here coming from an Airbnb I rented in Kent, New York, primarily because it has this beautiful grand piano I've been using to plunk around with some ideas. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight into my process writing this piece. So what I've been focusing on during this trip is the third movement, the Consummation of Empire movement, which is the empire is at its height, it's having some sort of parade, it's extremely excessive and extremely loud and extremely verbose and a little bit too much. At least by a certain point in the piece it becomes too much. Too much music is playing at the same time, too many things are happening, it's just bombardment. And I wanted to have a section in that was a little bit more introspective. It was while the city is going crazy having a party, in the painting you might be able to see towards the right side there are a couple people who might be philosophers just sort of sitting and observing and thinking about the situation at hand, and maybe even wondering about what comes next, which is the destruction movement, you know, the end of it all. So what I wanted to do was have an introspective part of this piece that sort of abruptly cuts off the excessive music and then has something just very simple and very introspective in it. And for that, I know of this very famous Welsh hymn called Callan Lon, which some of you might know is something that they often sing at rugby matches before the game, like we might do with the national anthem. But in this case, the Welsh people all sing it in unison. So there are some great YouTube videos, for instance, of these thousands of people at this Welsh rugby match singing Callan Lon, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's almost never, I think it's never sung in English, it's always sung in Welsh, and I don't know Welsh. But to give you a little bit of an idea of what the song is about, the lyrics are, "I don't ask for a luxurious life, the world's gold or its fine pearls. I ask for a happy heart, an honest heart, a pure heart, Callan Lon. A pure heart full of goodness is fairer than the pretty lily. None but a pure heart can sing in the day and sing in the night." So it's very thematically related to the idea of this piece, which is slow down, figure out what you want in life, don't go for the excessive thing all the time. Think about the simple pleasures in life. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea of what I'm writing here. Here is the tune, very simple, Callan Lon in C major. Now the chorus. So it's a very simple tune that I want to try to adapt into a sort of daydream-like texture. So what's great about having a piano, which I don't normally have in my small little apartment in New York, is that I could test things out and sort of plunk around and not have to worry about it being perfect. So what I generally do when I have something like this is I add maybe some simple harmonies, you know, nothing really intense. Maybe just add some harmonies, try things out, see what you might like to do. And then I also try to think of textures and just sort of play around with what the music might do around it. So the main motive of the piece, which you'll hear in several parts, is just a simple minor seventh interval. So what I was thinking about doing with this section is to just have a bit of just hanging out in that texture for a little bit. And then we can slowly bring in hear the rhythms a bit slower, a bit freer. harmonies up on top, maybe in the high strings, who knows, the orchestration comes way later. And you just sort of play around with this until you come up with something that is absolutely magical. So generally what I do is I plunk around for a little bit, I write some stuff down on this paper here, and once it gets to the point where I can no longer play it on the piano, which will be very soon, I go into the computer, into Sibelius, the notation software, and then start to organize things around it, add different lines, and start to see the piece sort of come together. What comes after this section in the third movement is a return to the excessive music, to the march music, to the waltz, to the Dixieland, everything that's going on at the same time. And that races to a big conclusion that is abruptly cut off again, not by daydreaming, but this time by an invading force into this empire. A very nasty, vicious movement, the fourth movement, destruction. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was clear. My process at this point in writing the piece is very scattered and very, I don't even know if I understand what I'm doing, but I know that eventually it'll all come together and you guys will get a great piece to hear out of it. Thank you so much for watching.